Yeah. All right. So, welcome aboard, everybody. My name is Doobyis. This is Fly in Formation, and it's a spin-off from my weekly mix show that I do with my homie DJ Dice every week. We like to gather as much new release independent Canadian hip hop as we can find. We never play anything twice, and we put together an hour-long mix. You can hear those over at mixcloud.com/Doobyis. But to get a little bit deeper into kind of just discovering the scenes and the artists who make them up, I decided to start doing this Fly in Formation series and actually reaching out and talking to different artists, just doing podcast style content. And, it's a good way to kind of get short form content. We chop clips from it and everything. So make sure you hit follow if you like this type of stuff. I talk to a new artist every Tuesday. And here with me tonight is Niagara Falls based artist Dialect Sosa. He's got a new album out. It's called Decline of a Beautiful Mind. Ultra Violence, Decline of a Beautiful Mind, I believe, right?
Sure.
I got that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you got it.
welcome aboard, man. Happy to meet you and glad you could spend the time to come through here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, dude. So I guess maybe just start off. Can you give us like well, actually, you know what? Let's start off with this is a question I like to ask people right off the top. Can you just describe your sound? Sounds like a basic question, but it's tough as hell to answer.
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place lately, but I guess I've always been all over. I'm mostly like hip hop, the 90s golden era, boom bap. That's my roots right there.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds about right. That's
I like
kind of
to
how I would have
venture out
summed it up too.
sometimes and try different things, but that's like where my bread and butter right there, man.
For real. So, with this album, is this your debut album? We kind of
Yeah,
started talking about it before the cameras were rolling there or whatever, but we can get
yeah.
into it now. So yeah.
It's my debut solo record.
O-
Yeah.
Okay. So and before this, you said you were like with a band. Was it a full
Yeah.
band or just like a DJ
Yeah, it
or
was a
how
full
how?
band. Yeah. We had two electric guitars. We had a bass, had a
Oh, dope.
drummer. We even had a trumpet player in there, and then we had like two MCs and
Okay.
DJ. Yeah, yeah. It was like we were like a Wu-Tang clan or the Roots
That's
or some shit, you know.
that's dope. But you were the only MC. You were the front
No,
lyricist
but
or
me,
whatever.
me and another dude, my boy Donnie Yonder.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's a name I recognize. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
He's
not
still doing it.
incredibly familiar with him, but I've heard the name around for sure.
Yeah, man. That's
Um,
that's, that's my best friend right there.
yeah, dope, man. So, I guess tell us about the new album. What can people expect from the new one?
So I started off just trying to think of like a cool, I don't know why, but I always wanted to do a concept album.
Yeah,
So I was just thinking of different like stories I could do, or I'm just really into like movies and visual stuff. So I always wanted my album to be like something you're picturing all the way through. Um, tell a story of some sort. So eventually I don't know, I've always been into Hitchcock movies.
okay,
you know, like Space Odyssey and The Shining and Clockwork Orange, which is the
right,
one I took. I took my kind of themed my whole record around that movie, but um kind of meshed it with things that happen in my life too, and like some things I just like go all out, right? I have a colorful imagination too, you know what I'm saying?
right.
So
So,
so I just kind of came up with just a story of telling my story, but kind of mixing it in with the themes of that movie and all that. Um,
okay, so I've seen A Clockwork Orange, but it's been a long time, and
yeah,
can't particularly remember. But like, was the title for the album like a reference to that movie somehow, or how did you
yeah,
come up with that title, man? It's a bit of a
yeah.
mouthful, and yeah, I was
I
guessing
heard
that,
that
but
that term ultra violence was in the movie like a lot. Like it was how he referred to the main character is how he referred to like his bloodlust basically or like
right,
he was just a crazy kid and and didn't really have any morals at all and like uh, so he's always into he's always talking about the ultra violence throughout the movie, like, oh man, this is the first 5 minutes of the movie. I think the first scene he says that. He's like,
Okay.
we were just sitting at a bar, and a milk bar and waiting for like wondering what to do with our nights. And he's like, this milk gets you like nice and wired up so you can go start fights or whatever, and something like
Yeah.
that. And he's like, yo, this is how you get into the ultra violence. And it just like was the most epic beginning of a movie ever. Like they had this hard crazy music, like the Shining music was like intense, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so Clockwork Orange was crazy like that, like with the music in the background too. It had a lot to do with the movie, the music that was playing. So they had a lot of
Right.
Mozart and shit like that in there. I don't know. It was really cool how they mixed music with that with the story and everything. So
Did you
that
use
was
samples
cool.
from the film too, actually, in there? Like I heard some samples separating songs. I didn't
Yeah,
recognize them, but I also wasn't really trying too hard to place them or
no
whatever
doubt. Yeah,
either.
it's
But
an old ass movie. I don't know. A lot of people probably,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
aren't gonna know
I
where
mean,
it's
it's a
from.
classic though. It's an all-time, all-time great for sure.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
The movie buffs will know,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
for
But
real. There's probably a lot out there who would. Yeah.
yeah, so we sampled like I actually had a lot more skits and all this stuff to use in there, and I ended up taking it out because the album's 20 songs, and that was already like twice as long as it should have been, and I had like way more, man. Like people had to convince me to like take, you got to drop some songs. I just wanted to put out like everything I had,
Okay,
and
so I wanted to ask about that too, because like 20 tracks, like I think it runs for what is it,
an hour.
64 minutes or something, just over an hour, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, man, like I looked at that and thought like this is one of the longer projects I've seen. I feel like 40 minutes is maybe the average for like people's full length albums at this point a lot of the
These
time.
days, yeah.
Did you think a lot about like the length of it, or
You know
like
what? I just
when you
didn't
were whittling
care.
it down?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't care. At the end of the day, everybody told me to like chop it down, man. Like go down to 10, put out two 10 track albums, whatever. But like I don't know. I always I make music like that I would want to listen to myself or something. And I like those long ass albums back in the 90s and shit, man. And like, you get um like a double disc or whatever from Biggie or the Woo, or what I'm saying. It was just like I
for real.
liked just like big projects, but especially I wanted to mesh it all into a story too. So that mattered a lot. But I had a lot of things I wanted to say. And it was too I don't know. I had to cut out some parts I really didn't want to, but I did. But even still, it's so long. But like if
In the
people can
current
get through
era
it.
though, man, like people can you can drop singles too, right? Like if you've got a bunch of tracks that you chopped, you can still be dropping singles. Do you think they'll see the light of day, some of the other tracks that you had, or
Um, I mean, I dropped singles, a lot of singles from that album.
yeah.
There's like, yeah, at least five out. You
Well,
know,
no, but I mean like loose singles, that aren't attached to an album. Like a lot of artists will
oh,
do just kind of weekly drops or whatever that are just,
yeah, I
the
mean,
loose
to be
cuts.
honest, a lot of the songs I dropped, they weren't really supposed to be in a story like that. Like they were, I had the singles, I mean, before the album, they
Okay.
were just put out, and then like later on, I just chose my ones I liked the most, and I just got creative with it and came up with like a pattern of how to put this album together. But I was very meticulous about it. I had to put a lot of thought into how each song will, which every song is there for a reason, kind of thing. In a way, it's telling a story in my head. So
Yeah.
I don't know how people are gonna interpret that, or how they're gonna take it in, but that didn't matter either to me. I was like, as long as it's a good album, great music all the way through. I wanted to make every song like a banger. Like, I just wanted to, those
Well,
were the,
I felt like it was really cohesive, man. Like I think the production you chose across it and just, your lyrical actual output throughout it. I think you came up with something that really works well together, even, though it is a lengthier project than a lot of people are used to sitting through at this point, maybe.
yeah.
I also am from the era of like big albums and like double disc woo albums or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I made it through the entire thing and enjoyed it all. But I think
Yeah.
especially because of your production choices, it kind of held it together. But can we talk about who produced the beats? Where'd you pick beats up from?
Actually, like 90% of them were from BeatStars, guys I met on BeatStars, like,
Okay,
through a network there of like boom bap producers and stuff like that.
yeah,
And
yeah, word.
I spend a lot of nights, like I'll take like 2 hours in the middle of the night, just go through beats on there and and like I'll save ones that I'm like, oh snap, okay, this could be for later. And I'll just I I ended up compiling like the over the last year, probably like over 150 beats or something like that.
Damn,
And then sometimes they'll just like not sound that great when I save them. But later on, I'll come in and I'll play one and I'm like, oh shit, this sounds like completely different to me, like after it's been a while. Yeah. And I just like yeah, I just pick and choose. I just constantly make music, man. So
nice.
that album right there, there's like a million songs that I didn't put on there because they wouldn't have had any um reason to be there. I wanted every song to kind of have a reason, but again, like I want people to just interpret it how they want to as well. Like that dude that did the review, the Not Your Man's.
The 1 minute review there. Yeah, that's a slick review
Yeah,
format. I gave him
yeah, that
props.
guy's
I
dope.
messaged him. Yeah,
Yeah, man, he's ill. And he gave a good review, like an awesome review. And but he said, he's like, I don't know how to interpret this, or what he was trying to get across. I want to talk to the artist, or and see what he meant by this. What did he want people to get out of it? And that's something I was thinking, I'm like, I just want them to get out of it what they feel they got out of it.
right.
I want everyone, how people look at a painting in the gallery, or and everybody's got their own reason of like what the Mona Lisa looks like, or what
That's a
she's
ghost.
thinking.
I feel like that's a Ghostface quote. Do you know you're quoting Ghostface? Ghostface has a
No,
quote that I've
no,
quoted
where's
him
that
on
from?
before. In I think it's like the Wu Tang Hand Manual. You ever seen that book or whatever?
Oh yeah, I
That's
remember that.
that's
I
where
didn't
I
read it though.
originally saw the quote. Yeah, man, and he
Yo,
talks
great minds,
basically
yo.
about what you were just saying that like abstract art. People looking at it can't tell what they're looking at, but the dude who did it knows what it is, and that's what
He
really
knows what
matters
it
or
is to
whatever. But
him, but he gave it
yeah,
to people to think what it is to them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get across. Like with the record, that's what I want. I don't want to necessarily. I mean, I could tell you the story,
weird.
what it
Yeah,
is.
no,
Just like people who can't like really understand the rap or whatever. I could tell you what the story, what's going on in the story, but
yeah,
um, what's at the end of it, like it starts off just like a dude, like I'm talking about in the intro, just talking about like my life and like some things that happened and my like growing up, how I felt about violence or something, like and you get kind of accustomed to certain things. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't necessarily violence. It was just like the crime life, and um yeah, basically my morals, my religious beliefs, a lot of that stuff got tested when I was young, and that's kind of what I made the ultra violence to me was that lifestyle,
yeah.
like
Dude,
so
it's amazing to me how easily humans can get accustomed to all types of surroundings, even whether it's like a war torn area or
yeah.
crime like you're talking about or whatever. Like humans are very quick to acclimatize to those conditions and
Mm.
settle into it,
And then
and
you get older and
like
you
you say,
look
it
back and
becomes
you're like, what the
normal.
fuck? Yeah, what
Yeah,
was I
right.
doing? I can't
Well,
believe we
or if
did
you just drop
that.
somebody else into the situation,
Yeah,
they would be completely shocked by it or whatever. But yeah,
exactly.
it's like the frog in the pot or whatever, the slow boil, and you don't notice sometimes what you've gotten
Yeah.
into or whatever, right?
Yeah, man.
So I saw here. Actually, let me ask this. I saw in the comment section there of Buddy's 1 minute review. Um, Showed him out again. What was his name?
Not Your Man's is the
Not
like
Not
the
Your Man's. Yeah,
website.
yeah. We should actually tell people where to find him. Go follow Not Your Man's. But
Yeah,
yeah, in
notyourmans.com. Yeah,
in
well,
the
the
in
man's
the
is with a Z.
in the comments there, somebody asked about one of the tracks with Sazy on it and who produced it, and I kind of guessed it was Sazy. Did he
No,
self-produce those two that he's on?
no, I did get some beats from Sazy though. I did. I got some things recorded and stuff just socked away. But I that one, the ones with Sazy, I got David Arcade producing Evacuate.
Okay,
David Arcade, he's nasty, man. He's got some heat. Donnie Yonder's been messing with him on his album. He uses a lot of David Arcade on there.
right.
Um, so if anybody loves that sound, check out Donnie Yonder's album, man. It's fire.
Nice, man.
Anyway, that's a little plug.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
For my
mean,
man.
that's what it's for, man.
Yeah,
I love it. I love, telling other artists that people should be checking out on and, spreading the
yeah,
spotlight as much as we can. So yeah,
no
feel
doubt.
free.
So
Um,
Contrabands is a producer who did the other song with Sazy, the Flowing Lotus. That's the one that was like, it was
it's an early
it was-
single, right?
yeah, it's an earlier single, like one of the first ones I put out. And yeah, that was a banger, man. We did that like 6 months ago or something, like a
I
while
was gonna
back.
say, man, when I was listening through the full album, I don't know, sometime last week or whatever, I was like, "Oh, I know this song. Didn't I play this?" And so I went and searched, and like, yeah, I played
Right.
that on Atzik like
No
sometime
shit.
early in 2024, I think. Like, I'd have to look it up again to make sure, but I know I played
That's
that one
dope.
early when it dropped. Yeah. Um, so when you're working with that many different producers, I guess like is it heavy on your mind to try to keep the album sounding similar? Because people always talk about like, oh, Illmatic was such a monumental moment because he incorporated all these different producers, but
Yeah.
still has this kind of cohesive golden era sound or whatever that I mean, then he
Yeah.
was creating it. But
Kind of took
I
that
think anytime
formula.
people put a bunch of producers together, you're in that situation, right? Trying to come up with something that sounds right together.
Yeah,
Um,
man. Yeah,
what
like I said, I'm not I don't I go by the mood when I'm in the studio. Like it's like some days I'll be feeling some really like chill lo-fi shit. Some days I go back to, my roots with the hard, like fast, heavy guitars and guitar loops and shit on the boom bap joints, you know. So that's a lot of the album you'll see there's a theme of that, but I change
Yeah.
it as it goes. You know, it's like it's running like a linear, like a story from A to B. It goes, it starts off like boom bap-ish, and then like halfway, all the way through, it keeps the theme of the hard boom bap, but like halfway
I
through,
noticed a switch.
incorporating the stuff like God Loves Ugly, and that's when it
That was
comes in
exactly right
and
at God
smacks
Loves
you in the
Ugly. I
face.
was like, okay, we're doing like arena
Oh, he's going there
anthems
with
now, right? Like,
it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was conscious then,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
for
change
sure,
up to
man.
kind of be
I like
halfway.
I want to show that I can do a lot more than just the old 90s golden era boom bap shit. I mean,
For real.
people want to hear that shit to a certain extent, right? Like I don't think it's like you got to kind of be able to go with the times to a certain extent but without compromising your own artistic beliefs or what you like, make music you like to listen to. I like to listen to Kid Cudi a lot. I
Yeah.
like to listen to fucking Adele. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'll go listen to like uh Portugal the Man or a lot of different kinds of music. I'll just go into some alternative rock shit sometimes. I'll be bumping Nirvana or something. And then I'll go back and like bump fucking Wu-Tang, and
Right.
I like it depends on what the mood I'm in, and that's the kind of music I listen to. So that's the kind of music I make. So it was natural, just happened naturally that I did that. But when I chose where each song will go, that was definitely conscious of it's time to hit him with a different like because the story
Yeah.
changed right then. That's when I go to jail, and the song right before is Run, and before that is Evacuate. Evacuate
Right.
It's it was saying, I'll just get into a story a little bit. It's like Evacuate was when it was like, he's got to get out of the game and get away, and like maybe trying to get like one last re-up, or a run, like one last run to go out with a bang, and then he gets arrested like at the end of that song, right? Um because he had a shootout with the police and stuff like that. This is all stuff from my imagination too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I didn't shoot it out with police. but
It's
but
not autobiographical all the
yeah,
way through. Yeah.
exactly. It's not full, it's not all like that. But I mean, I just kind of put myself in the story.
Well,
Like,
and
you know,
working with a concept like in a concept album, that's a good way to do that because then you don't have you can still talk about shit like that and it doesn't come off like you're fronting about how tough you personally are or whatever, the shit
no,
you've
no, I mean some of the
necessarily
shit,
been
and
through,
I
right?
say though I actually did, yeah, but like some of the shit is like nah, over the top. Like I fucking at the end of the album, I'm shooting up a police station, bro. Like
Yeah,
so-
where a
and I die too, and or whatever. I mean,
little bit of revenge
however you
fantasy
interpret
in
it,
there or
yeah,
whatever. Sure, yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
like that was my interpretation of it, was that goes to jail at God Loves Ugly, wade in the water, and he's like losing his religion, you know what I mean? And he doesn't know what he believes anymore. And then he kind of, after he gets out of jail, he's just gone. He lost it. And
Yeah.
that's when you see the songs like Promises come in, and like fucking Mickey Mondays and
You
the
mean
Bleach
jail
Iced Tea.
didn't reform him? He wasn't just fixed by being
No,
locked away? Like shit.
no, no. Now he
Yeah,
came out
I don't
even
think it
worse.
works
He
like
came out,
that.
yeah, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Came out with a doctorate in
yeah,
criminology or whatever, like they say in
exactly,
Blow.
man. Yeah, yeah. College for the
So
streets or whatever, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, man. So he gets that's when you see the song start going into like some psychopathic shit, where I'm just like saying outrageous things.
right.
And the first songs were like hip hop motherfucker, and then it just like
I,
by the next one I'm like I don't know, just I got real violent at the end there, all right? And
I
then
was gonna say, man, until I got to the end of the album, I was listening to it like,
it
what the
got
fuck
more
is
and more
this
violent.
called? Ultra violence or whatever. Because like, I listen to a ton of indie artists or whatever, and like a lot of dudes really love like horrorcore stuff or whatever, right? Like it's its own whole genre, and guys just really love to do horrorcore stuff. And I mean,
You have
personally,
no
it's not for me or whatever. But like, I
yeah.
was when I saw the album title, I was like, okay, we're getting into some horrorcore stuff here again.
I could have
Let's
went
go.
that way, man, because I have like many songs. Those are the ones I took out first.
Yeah,
Because
okay,
I'm like I just go on some like psychos, like Slim Shady shit sometimes, because that's just my I like to have fun with it, and I just like have a dark sense of humor, so I just say fucked up things,
right,
and like a lot of people are like taken aback. I think other artists or other people, they're like, holy fuck. I don't even want to put my name on that. Like,
right,
I ain't
yeah,
fucking with this dude. So I'm just like, it gets kind of, um, I don't know. It's just kind of my own fucked up
yeah.
uh,
I mean,
sense of
sometimes
humor,
songs are
or my own like thought way of storytelling. I don't know, man, but I just get dark sometimes. But also, again, like the album does have a lot of things that are me.
yeah,
I just
yeah, definitely, man. I
definitely
thought
not the
actually
violent actions though,
definitely, man. Yeah, honestly, and like even though you do have kind of like a style reminiscent of '90s boom bap and kind of golden era boom bap, um, it still feels fresh to me. So I kind of wanted to ask, like, when you're making it and you're trying to make songs that have that golden era classic aesthetic to them and sound to them, like, do you ever worry about like being pigeonholed in the past or um like how do you keep the sound modern as well? Like is there
well,
thought that goes into that or is it just natural?
again, it's just because I listen to a lot of new music too. I mean, I'm not that new.
Sure. Yeah,
I don't know.
varied
I mean, I'm
influences,
not
right?
like into the
Yeah.
whole Kodak Black shit, stuff like that. I can't even appreciate that
Yeah.
stuff. But like, man, you'll catch me bumping Migos and shit. Like, so, I'll be playing like you know, I don't know. I love like the Tyler the Creators and that whole like that right there is like you could tell like that kind of dude came up on the same kind of shit I liked. You know what I mean? Because
Definitely, man. Yeah.
really storytelling like really in his head a lot. He's very like
Sometimes with the Eminem psycho style raps
with that.
too,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, man. He's one of the you know like I don't know, he's became like an influence definitely. The Tyler the Creator style and his creativity and shit.
Yeah.
Like
Man,
Eminem is of course he's the GOAT to me. Eminem is my favorite MC of all time. So
okay.
like another reason why you'll see me get really funny and dark with it, but like almost overly uncomfortably dark with it, or like my
Pushing the
I got,
envelope, yeah, trying to
yeah, I
raise
got
the
a friend of
eyebrows.
mine who's like, Donnie Yonder. I was just saying, he's always telling me. I even put it in the album there. I'm like, well, or he goes by Bobby Pillows too.
Okay.
But he has like different names. But anyway,
Woo
he's
styles.
that one of the promises where I'm like, Bobby Pillows, uh, Bobby Pillows said, not like that. I don't know why I'm forgetting my own rhymes. I'm like a little bit blazed out right
Right.
now.
That
But
happens, man. That happens. It's tough to
Bobby
just
Pillows
recall
told me they're
bars.
gonna be passing me up, like drop like why you always rhyming about the wildest shit, running around acting like a child and shit. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Um,
dude. I mean, I think that there's something to be said for people's content has to evolve as they grow older, or it just starts to sound like you're trying too hard to be something, I don't know, to
yeah,
fit in with a younger crowd or to fit in with what's popular or whatever, right?
yeah,
And I didn't get that impression at all listening to your stuff, so you
yeah,
did
man.
that
I mean,
well.
I don't wear chains. I don't fucking I'm not at
Yeah,
the club like popping bottles.
fair enough, man.
I don't
Dude,
fucking, it's not me. I'm not at the strip club like, what's up, y'all? I'm just like, I'm just a fucking hermit chilling in the studio all day and
yeah,
like
I feel that, man.
watching movies and like listening to music of all kinds and like, I just vibe out and I'm in my head a lot and I like, it's that's where how I get creative. That's where I'm comfortable. I'm
Dude,
just
I
like,
was thinking about kind of the boom bap resurgence that's happened, and how like because I was listening to your album and thinking like, okay, so like this has that classic sound, but it still feels fresh. And then I got thinking about like, okay, but there's a whole new generation of kids below me who are like in their 20s now, and they came up and probably didn't go back to really listen to a lot of that 90s sound or whatever,
yeah,
right? Um,
no,
so I feel like it's maybe like old is new again. Like,
I
does,
don't know.
does that make sense?
No.
Yeah,
Man, I have good days where I'm like, yo, my shit's ill, I'm like, oh, this is so dope. Um, I'm the fucking man. I'm like, and then the next day I'm like, do people even like this kind of music no more, yo? I'm like, I don't think any fucking kids will listen to this boom bap shit right here. Or like the other day I was having a conversation with a friend that I was just like, dude that shot the running video, you know, uh,
okay.
he, yeah, I was talking to him just like, what do people even fucking like these days? Because he's a younger dude, and he's like, man, I don't know. He's like, I know your shit's probably gonna be like a niche market,
Yeah,
like, and I don't know. I was like, how the fuck can they not appreciate like people who go all out lyrically, like or just verbally assault everything, like that's the shit that like used to give me made me like hip hop, man. It's just like when
I
they
agree.
showcase
100%,
the
man.
skill, it's not like
Yeah.
they're showcasing their swag all day.
Yeah. I mean, that
you
was
know?
always a part of it. Like there was always that
Yeah.
image element to it, of course, or whatever, and like stylistic
Nowadays,
element to it. But like, yeah, man, now it's like really, really just all style and like you said, swag heavy. Like the image is
yeah.
almost more important than the sound for a lot of these artists, I think, which
Well,
is a
we're
strange
talking
thing in
like
the
about
music industry.
mainstream artists, right? Like that's what we're
Yeah,
talking.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that is the part that confuses me. I'm like, can anybody be mainstream? Like, there's Kendrick Lamar's out there, there's J. Cole's out there. These guys are at the top of the fucking game,
Yeah,
and
and
they're like,
Griselda, Benny the Butcher and those guys, they're out there
yeah,
doing
those
boom
guys are
bap
bringing it
stuff.
back. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
all these dudes are
So,
bringing it back to like you got to have skill to have longevity. You
yeah.
know, um, it's not going to work if you just got just swagged out on some like auto-tuned voice or whatever, or like you know singing all day, or like kind of I don't even know these artists'
You know
names
what
these
gets
days.
me, bro, is guys
Yeah,
who just want to fucking say the same things that everybody else is saying. Like
yeah,
when you start hearing just everybody use the same slang, and it's like, okay, but you're all from different cities. Like, why did you all just pick that slang up? Just because you heard the guys in Atlanta saying it, or like,
yeah.
like, and
No,
there's a ton of
That's
that, man. Listening
that's
to
because the
indie
internet
artists,
age too. That's like the internet age, man. Everybody's just on the same slang now.
yeah, it's less regional for sure, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Oh, they
still,
say cap
it
now?
feels
All right, let's
forced,
say
man.
cap now. Let's-
Yeah. Yeah,
you
right.
know?
And suddenly it's in every second song you hear, or,
Yeah.
everybody that you listen to is talking about like marching off, and you're just like, hey, but like nobody said that more than a couple years ago. Like, why are you all on that same shit? But yeah, I don't know. I feel like hopefully originality is kind of making a bit of a resurgence. I think the whole like Drake versus Kendrick thing has kind of separated a lot of the
Yeah. It changed
supporters
the
into
game.
two
Yeah.
different camps, where it's
Yeah.
like, no, we're the real hip hop heads over here, and that's the pop side of this or whatever, right? And
Fuck, man, I like Drake. But I love Kendrick too. I can't even fucking front on Drake's what he's brought to the game. I like that shit. Like,
I
that's
can
me
say that
though. I like both sides. I
I
like
can respect that dude more so than I've ever liked his music. Right from jump, I listened to the music and was like, hey, this isn't for me. This is like,
where
well made, and people are gonna like this, but it's just I'm not the target audience of
shit, man.
most of
See,
those songs, right? Uh,
he changed my perspective on a lot of things when he came out, man. Like with So Far Gone, that mixtape, man. That
yeah.
became like I started liking to hear. Before that, I was strictly listening to boom bap shit all day. I was like,
Okay.
I didn't even care what was coming out. Like people would be like, "Yo, you got the new 50 Cent?" I'm like, "No." And because
Was it
I was just
because he was local? Like, did you get some
great.
extra love for him because he's close to home or whatever? And so it's like, oh, that's the
Maybe.
local boy coming up doing it.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
because I was like, I seen him, everybody was seeing him on Degrassi growing up and shit. And then like to see, and then to know he's from TO, and then to see him blow up in such a big way. I mean, that changed everybody's like thing of like, wow, Canada can do that. Like, oh shit. So that
Yeah.
was like everybody took notice, but like
Yeah.
I'm talking his style of music.
Yeah.
Before him, nobody really fucked with that in hip hop, man. Nobody was doing that shit, like actually singing hooks themselves.
Right. And
You know what I'm
incorporating
saying?
melody,
Like,
even in verses and stuff too, right? He'll
yeah, yeah.
cut
Nobody
into
did that shit.
cut into singing halfway
Kanye
through a
was like
verse.
yeah, that whole era, like Kanye, the Kid Cudis, the Drakes. I love that fucking era, man. I love that shit. That's like where my whole mind opened up
Yeah.
of like, doesn't gotta be just all, Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang-esque, in my palette. I opened up to a lot of things after that. Started listening to more like blues and rock and like all kinds. I started appreciating different kinds of music more because
Nice.
once I let into that, like let that into my world. So I love Drake for that, and I love that
That's a
whole
big impact. We got Thunderground Radio in chat right now. They're saying Chaos did it first. And
yeah.
yeah,
Dope.
I mean, I think that's a
Chaos.
legit take.
He is right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Chaos was the shit. He did
Yeah,
open
yeah,
the, but like Drake did it on another level. I mean,
definitely. He
like
kicked open the door and took it global and really, really
yeah,
mainstream, right? Yeah,
he was the biggest artist in the world, and we were like, oh shit, he's from an hour away, like what, or like,
yeah.
fucking whoever's in
De-
Toronto was probably like, oh damn, like we out here,
yeah,
like
definitely
yeah,
an underdog story, though. Nobody was expecting the biggest thing in hip hop to come out of Canada, I don't think.
yeah.
Um,
That I like, yeah, I just like that was a big pivotal moment in my coming up, like when I first heard that So Far Gone tape, man. I love that shit because I love the way he was able to smoothly bring it back and forth from
Yeah.
melody, like to rap. And I loved how he did the conversational style and storytelling and like talking about himself and being vulnerable with it, being
That's what I
like
was going to say is I can
not just
appreciate,
braggadocious. Yeah,
yeah, I can appreciate that he brought more of that to the game. I think Kanye and Cudi, and there were some other people who were doing those same kind of introspective, more down to earth type bars
yeah,
too, or whatever. But yeah, Drake definitely had a big role to play
sure,
in
man.
that. Anyways, let's get back to your album though. How long were you recording it for? What was the recording process like for Ultraviolence?
Um, I just started making music again this in 2024. Like I had stopped for like 10 years. Like I mean stopped. Like I didn't do any music for 10 years before since 2014 till 2024.
Damn.
So like maybe did a song here or there for like a feature or something like that with some, but like that even that was like 2015 and on. So like 10 years no music, and then last year I just started in April, May. I brought put together a little studio at home and just started, fucking with shit.
Nice.
And
So home recorded then, eh?
oh yeah, the whole thing, that whole album, man, is like recorded here, right in this room, and
Nice.
like mixed. Actually, some songs were recorded with Sazy at his spot, but that was just really the songs that I did with him. I think they were the ones that were done there. Um,
Okay.
Otherwise, yeah, it's shot right here, like this booth right here. And like I mixed it and mastered it and all that myself.
So can I ask,
It's just I just
was
learned
the
how to
10
do all
years?
that too.
Yeah, dude, it's so awesome how the bar for entry has come down as gear has gotten cheaper or whatever. I love home
Yeah,
recording myself, and
yeah.
yeah, encourage
No
everybody
one
else
else
to
loved it as much
get
as
their
you do. You're gonna put all you're all into it. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
good to
definitely. And
know.
you don't feel the stress of somebody else standing there watching you do it. You can work on it till
Yeah,
whenever you want to work on it, and then
exactly.
quit and go have a smoke whenever you want or whatever. Like, yeah, it's just a lot less stressful that way.
Now watching the
Uh,
clock, you're not like, oh shit, this is costing me a lot of money. I gotta get this tape,
yeah,
you know?
for real, man. Studio
Yeah.
time is not cheap when you're paying somebody to go into their spot.
But
Um,
it's worth it almost. I'm starting to think that.
to
Anyway,
pay
go
for it, I
on.
was just going to ask, like, what is
Yeah,
your
like
what
I
does the
could have been so
ideal
much better.
recording session look like for you? If money wasn't
Yeah.
an issue or whatever, like, what would you be doing?
Um, I put out like I can make music like a maniac, man. I go hard. Like I'll fucking do like a song or two a day for a little while there. I was doing that. Like every day of the week I was like finishing a song. But
Nice.
if I had gotten a pro studio to do that, I don't know, the quality of the whole album could have been like 10 times better maybe, but I don't know, I don't know for sure, but I feel like there's definitely some things that I'm still learning, and
Yeah,
like by the next album it'll sound a lot more crispy, I bet, you know what I'm saying,
that
but
makes sense. Yeah.
I still think I did pretty good for someone who just learned 6 months ago, or you know what I mean, how to actually
Sounded
record
good to me,
stuff.
man.
Back in the day we used to have a studio and like professionals doing our shit.
Yeah.
We're used to doing
Um,
our like, yeah. Anyway,
Thinking about home recording versus studio recording actually had me wanting to ask about, like, is there a similar freedom that comes with just working on a project yourself compared to working on a project with an entire band and another lyricist and kind of a bunch of moving parts helping with every single song?
yeah, it's a
Um,
good question. Yeah, I definitely like being on my own, like doing it myself.
yeah,
Because I don't, yeah, there's a I guess when I had the band, there was like a lot of chefs in that kitchen and shit. But like a lot of egos or bumping heads or or like stuff like that. But you know, I had a lot of input into that stuff back then
yeah,
anyways, but like this time around, I really liked being completely like on my own doing it. I did it all just like in my own head.
yeah,
Everything was done right in the room I'm sitting in. And like I don't know, I never had to like I took some advice here and there from people, like, people that that are friends of mine that are also make music, and I like to listen to people's feedback and everything like that. So I bounce shit off my friends a lot. Just
Okay,
like
yeah.
I'll send it till the point I annoy them, like like because I make way too many songs. So I'm just like sending them one, two every day. Like, yo,
Two new
check this
tracks
out.
every day. Yeah. What do you
Yeah,
think of this one? Yeah.
yeah, like every day until they're like they just stop answering me after a while. I just know. I'm like, okay, okay, I'll start bugging Sazy again, yo. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I just
It's
like
good to have
go
a lot of
to
artist friends to bounce shit off of, man.
yeah, yeah, exactly, right? Because so I take advice from those people, right? But otherwise, I just like to kind of go with my gut with something. Yeah, if there's a lot of ones I made that I didn't show anybody because I'm work like eh, because of I those were the ones that I didn't bounce off anybody because they were already like something it's not gonna see the light of day.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I got a lot
So
of those.
sometimes, I mean, if you're writing two tracks a day, it's like that sounds to me like it's just kind of practice to keep the sword sharp and get your 10,000 hours in or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah, I
uh,
was making up for lost time for sure, man. Like going 10
yeah,
years without making music. And then when I came back into it, I was rusty as hell. But as soon as I started picking up, I just like, I was like riding the bike again. I was like, oh shit. Oh yeah, I remember how, it was even easier this time around than 10 years ago with
right.
writing songs. I don't know why, but maybe because I didn't have a lot of people in a group with me or whatever. Just this time, I just did every song I wanted to do.
Every
You know?
track is your own brainchild or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I didn't have like a buddy like, nah, that's not gonna fly, bro. You change that beat or like, I just kind of I like being in my own creative space like that. So,
so in chat we've got DJ K Flip saying he wants the uncut version of the album. So I was gonna say maybe don't bury all of the tracks that you still have in the vault or whatever too deep,
oh yeah,
uh,
oh yeah, they're
because
here. Yeah,
even personally, my opinion has always been that like sometimes you'll hear people shit on an artist for like, oh, this he put out that one whack album throughout his discography or whatever, and like for me, I'm happy that we have heard every Nas album he's put out. Um,
yeah,
because if nothing else, you see growth, you see experimentation, you see progression. Like,
yeah,
and I
man.
think only kind of like fickle fans are really going to hear some track and be like, "Oh, this guy's whack now." Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you definitely should build up your fan base a little bit before you start really experimenting and shit with like crazy things. But that's why I'm like I got a lot of things I experimented on, like doing things that I never do or styles that I've never tried or whatever. But I those are like sometimes I don't show those to nobody. Sometimes
yeah,
they're just sitting in a in a session somewhere on my computer. But like uh I got some I want to make my next album something different already. Like I don't want to do the same thing at all. I also like to elevate my game or try different things. I'm not gonna want to sound anything like this one did. So
yeah,
I have a
that's
lot.
interesting.
I have a feeling the next one's gonna be a lot more melodic shit, or maybe not as hardcore as this one was, or violent, or
Okay,
like
yeah, word.
dark. This one was
I
dark as
feel
fuck. It's good,
there's
you know.
two main like mindsets that artists seem to have where it's like some guys really just want to stick to their same sound that they've established and kind of like made their brand, and
Yeah,
album after album you can know what you're going to get from them. And then
yeah,
there's other guys who, like you're talking about, kind of switch it up album to album and will give you different things. And you know uh Kanye switching it up and doing 808s and heartbreaks back in the day or
love that
whatever.
shit.
It took the
I
world by
love that,
surprise,
man.
but it's looked
It's out of
back
left
at as
field.
kind of a
Yeah,
classic, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
So
love the 808s, man. That was like one of my favorite Kanye albums. Like probably second favorite one.
yeah, yeah, but so it's always interesting to me to hear different artists' opinions on that because, like, me personally, I don't really try to stick to one sound or whatever, and I don't know if that's necessarily best for people. I feel like just shoot in all directions, and I don't know, maybe if you find success, stick with that sound or something. Like if something really
Yeah.
pops off, go with it. But otherwise, just I feel like make what you want, right?
So this is a good question. I mean, maybe that like I was asking a buddy of mine, what do you think about should I have an album with because I had so many styles of different songs, like I kind of mixed them in this album.
Yeah.
But I said, like, is it better to just do a straight boom bap album and then come out with this? The next one, I'll try all these like, more and more progressive sounds, and then the next album after that, I'll just come out with the fucking whatever I don't know, like country album or whatever the fuck you want to do, like just
Don't do it. Don't do the
like,
country album.
is it
God,
better to
I've
just
had
keep
enough
them
of rappers
separated?
going
Or
country, man.
yeah, I don't know if I'm going there, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like
Yeah.
there's
Go on to a
never
new
say
sound of
never though. I
something.
might go yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So
There
like
there might be a dope way to
should I
do it,
mix them
right?
in or keep them separate? Like I was really that was like a dilemma to me. I was like, how the you know what would people accept? What would
Yeah.
I want people to actually listen because nobody even knows who I like am at all or cares or anything, So I'm trying to like get in their face with it the first time around, like you're not gonna miss me, like don't, yeah, I'm hard to miss this time, motherfucker. I'm like, you're gonna see me, you're gonna make
Yeah.
a noise over here. I'm like, I'm like, so I
And
had
if
to
you miss the
flex.
noise I'm making over there, I'll be back in a couple months with some noise over here, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
man. I just wanted to come out how hard and like so it's undeniable that like you're gonna deny that I am a better rapper than all of you motherfuckers. Like, I'm like
yeah,
I could be like, that's like skillfully I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna keep you all on your toes. Like that's all that's how I feel. And I want
yeah.
everyone to like feel me come in, So I was just trying to get real like make a statement with it, like in your face with it. And
That
just
makes sense.
just to because I want that recognition of like I'm here. you
Yeah.
know, like I'm out
And
here, yo. I'm out,
can I ask about the 10-year hiatus and then kind of what brought you back? Like what made you want to jump back in?
Man, I just moved out west, like I lived in Canmore and Calgary and like I
Okay,
lived in the Rocky Mountains for a while. And then when I moved out there, I bounced to get away from like the like a life that wasn't really doing me too well out here.
sure. Yeah.
So I was just like, let me get away from this before I end up, you know, in a situation like locked up or worse. So I just went for a fresh start, man, and went out there and I was like ended up having a family soon after I got there, So like I had
One thing
like
led to the next. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I ended up staying out there. I was just only kind of trying to get like, yeah, just till the heat dies or whatever, whatever. That's just, the
Yeah.
honest truth. And but I ended up staying out there for like 10 years and like and had had when I came back with my kids and everything, like and like that's it just kind of happened this way. Why it happened 10 years, why I stopped for the whole 10 years, because Alberta kind of killed my vibe, man. Like
I hear
from
that, man.
music
Yeah.
wise, nobody was like fucking with hip hop out there.
Yeah.
And eventually, slowly, it just kind of became like a distant thing to me that I used to do.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
to be fair, I do have to, represent for Alberta and say that there are some dope motherfuckers in Edmonton and Calgary.
Edmonton, no
There
doubt.
are
Yeah,
people doing
Calgary
the
though,
thing out here.
Calgary was like tough. Nobody listened to hip hop out there, man. I was there for like 6 years, yo. Nobody, nobody.
Hey, you said it. I didn't. I talked to artists from Calgary, and they keep trying to tell me that their scene is as
There's
healthy
a
as
scene.
Edmonton's. Yeah. Okay.
There
That's
is. I
that's
missed
about
it,
where
man. I was looking.
I lived in Edmonton. Like I've lived in here in Lethbridge for 7 years now, but before that, I was in Edmonton for 12, I think. And like, I have a really high opinion of Edmonton's hip hop scene. I think that there's like a disproportionate amount of dope motherfuckers in Edmonton doing it, who've been doing it with a long track record
No
at this
doubt.
point.
No doubt.
Whereas like
Edmonton, I heard good things about them.
Calgary,
Their hip hop
I
scene is nice. Yeah.
I can name a
Calgary
handful
was-
of guys from Calgary, and more so now. But yeah, it always seemed a little sleepier to me on the hip hop side of
yeah.
things, and I mean they're known for
Yeah.
rodeo or whatever, so
No
Yeah.
doubt. Yeah, it was a
Um,
there was a rodeo. That was like the hottest thing going down in Calgary. Like every year, this
right.
rodeo, and
Yeah.
like once in a while you get lucky though, and they bring like a concert to Calgary. Like I seen like
Yeah.
a couple of dope shows there, Mac Miller and shit like that,
Yeah.
and like
Method Man and Premiere were at the most recent whatever Stampede or whatever, but
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
couldn't.
So sometimes they'll have some dope shit there, but most of the time it's just like some cowboy shit,
Yeah.
and
No, I've never
they're
been to
playing.
one, bro. That's not
Yeah,
my
I
scene.
have. I've been to them because they were the only thing you can. There's the only thing to do.
Yeah,
Wait all year for this, you know.
for
So
real.
the Stampede
Um,
thing, Anyway, it's just a rodeo. Is what it was, really. So
one
anyway,
one sec.
that's what
Sorry, somebody set off an alert on my chat there by hitting the follow. Thank
am
you
I
guys for the
offending? Am I offending
follows.
somebody with this?
No, no, it's I
Somebody
just forgot to turn off my stream alerts, so it plays this ridiculous song. I'm gonna chop this out when we close this later. But appreciate you guys for hitting the follow button there. Come by on Tuesdays. I do these things every Tuesday. Um, but I also wanted to ask you about Niagara Falls. That's where you're based out of now, right?
Yeah, yes. I
Okay,
lived
so
here a long time
great.
before.
And so the only two, I feel like the only two features I saw on the album were Ezza and Sazy, and they're both Niagara Falls based guys,
Jay Roberts
right?
as well.
Oh, okay, Jay Roberts, yeah, on there as well. Yeah, sorry, I forgot him. Shouts to Jay Roberts.
Yeah, but the thing
But
is, like, I lived in the GTA as well. Like, I lived in Mississauga.
okay,
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I lived in Mississauga when I first like came to Canada when I was a kid. I was born in like East Africa. I moved to Mississauga. Grew up there really, and then I came to Niagara when I was in high school or a little after high, like around there. I think it was right before high school.
okay,
So I guess I spent like 10 years out west in Calgary. I spent like 10 years in Niagara, and I spent like I don't know 7 years in Mississauga and Burlington and like area like right outside Toronto outskirts.
okay.
So like I don't know which one I'm from really, but I know that I came of age in Niagara, so I kind of represent Niagara like that.
Fair,
This
fair
is
enough.
where
Chat
I'm.
was just giving me shit for calling it Niagara Falls. It's just Niagara. You guys don't live in the waterfall, so I
Yeah,
guess you just live in Niagara. Apologies, but I
yeah.
wanted to
Well,
ask though, like,
we're right by the Buffalo border. Like that's we're just really right
I've
by
drove
them.
across that border.
Yeah,
I've been through there or whatever, but yeah.
yeah.
I wanted to ask though about like the features that you did get. Are those guys who you've met in person, like out on the scene, or were they people you reached out to? And especially after you said, all the production was from different BeatStars
Yeah.
guys, I thought, oh, okay, so maybe it is just all online connects then.
Jay Roberts, I just heard of him recently. He's just like a monster, like
Yeah,
lyrical genius
yeah,
type dude. And I was just like came across him this past few months, like when I started making this album.
he's
And
good
I
shit.
was like,
I got a chance
oh
to
shit! I
interview
was like,
him
I got
last
to
year.
work with this dude, man. And then luckily, yeah, I got him. I got to get him on a song. Sazy, I known since
Okay,
way back, like way back. Yeah, like man, when I first like moved to Niagara, probably I probably seen him around back then. Anyway, knew each other. Didn't really work together or anything before, but I we knew each other since like we'd be like I was probably 15 or some shit, you know.
okay,
Yeah, he probably would have been 18 or something like back then. Yeah, man, like 2000 fucking seven or something. I've known that dude for a long time, and
way
like
back, nice.
we were in the scene together. He um he was always like the dude we looked up to, like, oh shit, I'm a he's the one dude that kept me on my toes. I always thought like I was the best around, I was like, even back then, like I had, and then I like Sazy was the one dude that I couldn't I couldn't flex with
Yeah,
that dude on the mic, man. He was nice. I was like, oh shit, I'm not the best.
Well, it must be something
You
in the
know?
water out there because
Yeah,
you said you're
I was
writing
like
two
running.
tracks a day. That motherfucker must write two tracks a day. It seems like
I
he's
was running
dropping all
around
the
like
time, man.
killing battles. I was like, nobody could touch me out here in Niagara, at least. I was like, oh, and then I ran into Sage. I'm like, damn.
Yeah,
So this
yeah.
guy's fucking killing it.
Dude
You know?
stays in beast mode for sure, man.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, as well, it's a similar thing, man. I've known him for a long time. Like I wouldn't like I think he's younger than me by a little bit. So when we were doing our thing back then, Sazy, I knew him through from the scene. We were doing the same shows. My band would do a show, and like he or me solo or whatever, and I would see him around. He'd play the same shows. Sometimes he'd do, be at the same clubs or whatever. But we knew of each other's music and shit.
Yeah. All right, man.
Yeah.
So this release it went out to Spotify. Do you have it on Bandcamp or where can people buy it from?
Actually, I don't have a Bandcamp set up yet, bro. I'm getting on that though.
Okay, word.
For the people that want to support artists and all that. I mean, to be honest with you,
There's a few
last
of us.
last thing I thought of was making money off this record or anything. I just was like making it just to make a statement and be
Yeah.
and like show that I don't know, tell myself that I could still do it, I guess.
That's the
You know,
best place to be making music from, man. People who are making music trying to make money, I think are misled. There's a
yeah.
lot of easier ways to make money, I think, than
Well, especially if you're
trying to
starting
hustle
out.
your music, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So my money's not even like in my head of like it's not what I was thinking would happen from this at all. I just was like I just wanted to I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I got something to say and I got a lot to bring to the table musically, man. And like it's dope when you're in your little studio and you're making this fucking fire and you're like, wow, like this could be something. But like you want people to hear that shit. You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to sit in a dark fucking corner
Hopefully.
of Spotify somewhere and nobody even like knows you exist. That's why
Totally.
I was like, just want to make noise, man. I want to fucking, do something with it, like get it
So
heard.
in the 10 years that you had
Not
stepped
told.
back,
I don't care,
like the industry changed a ton in that 10 years that you had stepped back just with the emergence of Spotify, right?
Yeah, man, it's culture
Can I
shock.
ask like how you feel like how you feel about Spotify, I guess? A lot of artists hate it.
Honestly, man, yeah, it's fucked up. Everything's like kind of, I don't like any of it, but I'm just gonna sound like an old man hater or some shit. Like I never was the dude who was all on like social media when it came out. Didn't mess with it really. I just
Yeah.
like I don't know. I had my because I was focused elsewhere, but I didn't really care for that kind of communication or connection with people like so like a distant um I don't know. I didn't go on Facebook. Everybody else did. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I wasn't even that's like I'm talking that old, right? So
A late adapter. Yeah.
to this
Yeah.
day, I'm like, I need to hire somebody to like do this shit for me because I don't even like this shit. I don't even like having to have a presence online all the time and like be constantly trying to get numbers up. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do all that. I just want to make music. Like,
Yeah.
and it changed so much. It was like a shock when I
I mean, I
actually
think that there's
started making music again. I was like, damn. It's like you can't just like rap and be good at rap. Now you got to be a manager. You got to be a you got to be like a
you got to
promo
be
A&R
everything,
and
right? Yeah.
yeah, man. I'm
Yeah.
like I don't know how to do all that. I just want to like make good music and I guess it is better in a many ways too though. Like obviously you've had this conversation. I've seen you have it with some people on this show where you talked about like
But pushes the reach, right?
the benefits of like this whole culture now of like the whole communication um the whole attention spans shrinking and the whole the world the whole music game's taken over now by things like Spotify or whatever else everybody's promo is Instagram now or or
Yeah.
you can't just go shop around at a label or something. Like people,
There's a lot of
you have
people
to get a
walking the streets
manager
who
to
have
just go.
people have never bought music in their life, right? A lot of young people who kind of
Yeah,
came of age when streaming platforms were around,
nothing
like buying
tangible.
music, it's just not a thing that you pay for. Like music is just a thing you get for free to somebody who's 20 years old right now.
Yeah, yeah, it
Which
was
like I
weird.
think is a fucked up way to try to run an industry, right? Like how the
Yeah.
fuck can we
Oh
survive when
man,
that's the yeah.
I bet the whole industry like hates Spotify's guts, but they're like, well, this is the way of the world, right? It's
Um,
things
well, and
unchanged.
like you said, right? Like there's ways to hate on it and sound like an old head just who's stuck in his ways hating, and then there's ways that we can talk about it and try to come up with like, okay, so like how can we navigate that? And what I've been suggesting to people is just like put singles there. Let them go to Bandcamp if they want to hear the entire album. Fucking send singles over there. Treat it like the radio, right? Like
Yeah, but like
yeah,
it's hard to get people to buy your shit
it's
if
very
you're
tough
not,
to get people to buy your shit, man.
if you're not known, and then even if you are known, they're like, I can get it for free.
Yeah,
Like, like
yeah,
it's just
and everybody's broke, man. Everybody's more and more broke too. So yeah,
yeah,
tough times. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Um, dude, we've been talking for a long time though. I wanted to
Yeah,
get through some of these how important questions. Are you good with
yeah,
going
yeah.
into that segment here?
Oh hell
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
man. I'll go with the flow. Let's
Right
do
on,
it.
dude. So let's start with how important is it that a listener understands your lyrics?
Yeah, that's to me personally. I uh I do a lot of like subliminally like poetic type shit in my rhymes sometimes, you know. I'm not very in a lot of songs like I'll be so it doesn't really they're not going to understand a lot of the things I'm saying because there's things that make sense to me or that happen to
Right.
me or and I'm not being very clear about it either. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like
It's
I
supposed
like
to be an abstract painting, like we were saying earlier,
exactly,
right?
man. That's it. That's it. That's it. I'm
Yeah.
really an abstract kind of dude. I love that shit. I don't know why. That's the way my mind works. I like things that need interpreting or like need each person to take it in and through their own experiences decide what that means to them. That's
Yeah.
uh that's how I look at art in general
Dude,
all the time. Movies, I love movies like that. I love everything like that. You
yeah,
know?
I was just saying earlier today, I was talking to Meyer Clarity, and we are working on a track, and he was saying like, I hope I didn't come with too vague of bars on that, and I was like, no, man, that I love it when an artist can approach a track and just bar out and not have to ask me, yo, what are we rapping about? Because like,
Yeah.
you can't look at a lot of songs and say like, what is this Wu Tang song about? You know what I
Man,
mean?
there's some Wu-Tang songs I love that I don't even know one rhyme Ghostface just said. I'm like, what did he call what? Like,
Well, we
you
know the
know,
rhymes, but
Wally
it's
Google
up to
Wally's
our interpretation, right? Like
yeah.
Scotty Waddy Copper Tippet. It's,
Like, what is
you
he
know,
talking about? Yeah, yeah, that's the joint.
yeah, yeah, we know
That's
the
one of
one.
the craziest joints I ever heard from Ghostface, man. I was like, what? That was
Yeah,
so awesome, though. I was like,
it's dope as fuck, man.
yeah, man. So
But
I like that shit. Like I love that. Wu-Tang is a great example of that, man. Like we didn't know
and
what
when you
that
listen to
was.
like actual full group cuts from Wu Tang, like they're not all rhyming about the same topic, or it's not like RZA
Yeah,
told them like, okay, guys, we're. I mean, there's the odd track where they do, but it's not like most of the tracks have like a real. Okay, now we're gonna tell a story or talk about this one specific topic or whatever, and
yeah.
so
It
yeah,
was just how they told that story that like that I loved. It's just the styles they came with and like
yeah,
I don't know, it doesn't exactly matter that much if you understand what somebody's saying to me, but like
yeah.
I don't know what this new generation's like exactly. I mean, they obviously don't care either because like half their shit is mumbled, right? Like
Or
uh
when you can tell what they're saying, it's nothing real deep. It's
or they got some
not
deep slang like from their cities or whatever, right? Like
sure. Yeah,
not every not the average listener's not gonna know unless they're from ATL,
yeah,
like what that
definitely, man,
means or what you know what I'm saying? Like
for
yeah,
real. How about this
I
one,
don't
dude?
understand half of Future's music. Like I don't understand what the hell he's talking about. Like
100%. Yeah,
so.
I
But
agree.
I still vibe with some of it. I'm like, oh shit, this beat's fire. He's riding the beat real nice. I can appreciate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely,
Doesn't
man.
really necessarily have to be the best, you know, most poetic. things ever said.
How about this, dude? How important is it to have a message in the music?
uh yeah, I mean that's I would say that's pretty important. Yeah. I like
Yeah,
I like I like to kind of get a vibe of what somebody's about when I listen to
yeah,
their music. Like you're letting them into your world or your perspective.
yeah.
So are you asking if it's a good message? Like,
I
does it have
mean,
like a nice wholesome message? Like, does
I
that like
well, no,
gotta be
not
something
necessarily a
positive?
wholesome
Because that's
message.
not something I really. I'll
Not
talk about dark
necessarily,
shit. Like I'll talk. Yeah,
yeah, but just some sort of message, right? Like, yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be an uplifting message, but I think again, there's two schools, and all these questions that
yeah,
I
yeah.
ask, I
No,
don't
I
know
like
the
this
answer
question.
to. I don't feel like there's a right answer to it
You know,
necessarily. It's just opinions, right?
it
Um,
reminds me of Seinfeld. Like it's a show about nothing, right? Right? The show about
yeah,
nothing. Do you want to hear an album about nothing? You know?
sometimes maybe, right? Like that might have its time and place, but yeah,
Yeah,
other times not so much, right? So
I guess so. I guess so. Yeah. Like who can we compare to that right now? Like what's a big artist, like a big artist that's just just has no personality or like no meaning behind anything he says or like no
dude, a lot of
substance.
them, right?
Like you
If
basically
I'm
have no
being
substance.
honest, man, I'm starting to feel like it's a deafening silence coming from American hip hop right now,
Yeah.
with what's happening in their country. I'm starting to wonder why no one is like, where are the songs? Where are the public statements? Why is no one fucking saying anything about dude hailing
Yeah.
Hitler on their fucking stage in front of their flag? Like
Yeah,
it's a
man.
lot right now going on
Yeah,
down
you're
there.
right.
There's
You know,
plenty
there
to
is a lot
talk
of
about. And everybody went up and accepted their Grammys and smiled, and like, I don't know, Chapel Roan said that artists should have health care, but nobody really said like, the fascists are taking over. Like,
Kanye did
yeah,
for a little
well,
bit. Then he joined the passenger children.
then he showed up with his naked wife at the
So
Grammys the other
the
night.
Grammys. They're like,
What
dude,
the
get the
fuck?
fuck out of here. He
Yeah, man.
lost like a big deal after that or something. They like dropped him from a deal like in Japan or some shit. That's what I
Dude, it
heard.
seems like everything he does, he
Just because
loses
his
some
girl
billion
got
dollar
naked
deal.
at the Grammys, he didn't get naked. His girl did.
Yeah. It's a circus, man. It's a circus. Keep the people entertained. But yeah, let's
Yeah.
go on with these how important questions. Uh, how important is it that an artist writes their own bars?
Oh, that's
Guy who likes Drake.
yeah, that's 100%. Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
All right.
I
All
don't,
right.
I don't, I don't, I don't see the purpose of ever using a ghostwriter, no matter what situation I'm in. I would like not want that.
Yeah, fair
That's
enough.
just not because of the cliche, like or like oh, like Eminem, just angry at people who use ghostwriters. I don't care that any people use them. I understand why people use them, but like, yeah, I think personally, it's just like something um that makes it not really fun for me if I was not coming up with the shit myself or or like
I 100% agree. And in the music that I listen to, I want it to be that person's personal expression too. I was thinking about this actually earlier
exactly.
that like I'm a little bit of a hip hop elitist, and like I'll tell you, hip hop is my favorite genre of music or whatever. And I think
Yeah,
that's one of the main reasons why, because you actually like it's personal expression from the actual artist you're listening to. Whereas like, Beyonce has 26 fucking writers on every song. Like, whose art are we listening to here?
yeah.
And that goes with like kind of every other genre. Whereas like hip hop, you know, the
Every
reaction you
genre,
just
yeah.
gave me is the reaction every MC I've talked to has given me. Um,
Hip hop is the only one that's like really against that in any way because everything else is basically like it's built
it's
on
about
that.
make
We have a
it's about
ghostwriter,
making
and
as
then we
much
have
money as they can.
yeah,
Right?
Britney
Like,
Spears is the face of this song that this
yeah,
guy wrote, or like,
yeah, man. So
rap is
I'm with you
different.
on that one. People should
Rap
write
is
their
more
own
like a
bars.
self-expression thing. It's a self-expression. You're expressing yourself, not
Well, and it's made of a bunch of I statements, right? Try writing a rap with no I statements.
yeah.
It's fucking impossible. It's
I
tough,
know.
anyways,
I
right?
actually tried that.
Yeah.
It's funny
No, it's
you said
like a
that
good
because
writing exercise to try.
I
Yeah.
started like making a song the other day, and I'm like, why do I always I'm writing a hook, and I'm like, why do I always start everything with I? This it's always you're talking about your go-to is just talking about yourself, but I'm sure there's ways around that. But anyway, I just noticed it too the other day. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Weird, man.
do that a lot.
Um, this is kind of an interesting one. I get answers on both sides of the fence on this one. How important is an MC's fashion or image? I guess either or
Wait,
both.
that's two different things. It's
Okay.
completely
Well, let's just say fashion then. Let's just say fashion.
okay. Passion, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like
No, no, no.
I'm
Did you?
not.
Did,
I always love the artist the most. My favorite artist is like the dudes that really put their like you could hear them put like their all their energy into these words they're saying, right? Like that's why I started liking Lil Wayne. I was like, this guy really pushes everything
sorry.
into it, when he's going all out, like, and like
I got to pause this for a second here, Sosa. I think you're answering how important is passion with a like P. I'm asking fashion,
oh,
like
fashion.
clothes.
Oh
Yeah.
well, it's like not even as good of a question. How
Well,
important
because
is
earlier you
fashion?
talked about
Okay,
how you don't
I
wear
don't fucking
chains or
care about
whatever, right?
fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just wear all black all the time, bro. I look like I'm going to a fucking funeral every day.
I mean,
All black everything.
it works, man. It works.
Yeah,
No.
I don't. I'm not. I don't wear chains. I don't fucking. I've never really wore a chain ever. Even when I had money to do that, I didn't.
A, a lot of the culture puts a ton of emphasis on fashion, right? Like even
Yeah.
KRS-One will tell you that's the fifth element or whatever. It's like hip hop fashion. It's like, okay, well,
To
I'm
each
not
his
going to
own,
argue with
though.
what KRS-One has to say, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I don't
Nah.
really care if my favorite MC is wearing Gucci or not. Like,
Yeah, no doubt. Yo,
yeah,
can we take a break for a second?
yeah, for
I
sure,
just
man.
gotta blow my nose, man. I'm fucking like stuffed up.
Yeah, we'll pause this thing. I'll give you a minute.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, bro.
Yo, thanks for coming through Thunderground Radio. I appreciate you being here and keeping chat lit up. I have been reading it, whether I've been responding or not. But yeah, I agree with you that like buying albums used to be a lot bigger than it was now, right? Like I think a lot of
Yeah.
people don't even listen to albums at this point. Um, yeah,
They just
Sosa Thunderground
singles.
Radio is he's in chat here and he said buying a new album was a special time. That would be the soundtrack for my next month or year. I guess I must have been selling more weed than Thunderground Radio was because I was buying 4 albums a week or whatever. So it'd be the soundtrack for the week. But yeah, I definitely know what he's talking about. Whereas even if it was a bad album, you got to listen to it. And, I know Ludacris's album better than I probably should
Yeah, yeah.
because you end up buying a CD because you like a track or two. And then it's like, what is the rest of this? But
Yeah, true. True, man. Yeah.
yeah. Here we'll get back to these how important questions.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a couple more, and then I'll let you off the hot seat here, man.
No, it's cool.
Uh,
Yep. I'm chilling. Yeah.
how about how about this, dude? How important is a local reputation?
Local reputation.
Local reputation, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's pretty important. Um, local. Local, you mean like in the same it's like Niagara for
Local
me,
gets real
example?
blurry with all you guys out there in the GTA. I don't even know if Niagara considered in the GTA. People
Not
make fun of me
really.
because I'm talking to
It's
guys from Sudbury and I'm like, yo, your guys are close to Toronto. I don't have any fucking idea what is or isn't close to Toronto out there.
I don't know.
Uh,
Toronto, the GTA is like the six, you know what I mean? There's like six parts to Toronto. That's
is that why it's called the Six? For
yeah,
real?
yeah,
I didn't know that. No, you just
yeah.
enlightened me. Okay.
Just like New York is the five boroughs and Toronto it's the six. It's kind of like that. So
Okay,
yeah.
but like London counts, right? As
Uh
being GTA
no,
or no?
no,
Does
no.
does does
GTA is
Brampton
like,
count as being
yeah,
GTA?
yeah, it
Does
does.
like honestly, I couldn't point to these places on a map. I only know of them because I know
Mississauga,
rappers
there's
from
like
these places.
Oakville or something like that. Scarborough, of course. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, I've been out
Anyway,
there too. I've fucking flown out to London and spent a week or two there
yeah,
before and shit. And
I
I
can sit there,
don't even know how
go through
close these
them.
places are to Toronto, but motherfuckers laugh at me for it because I'm always just like, well, you're close to Toronto, but when you live in a place like fucking Alberta, I mean, you said you lived out here. Everything's 4 hours drive between each other. So like, if
Yeah,
you're closer
yeah,
than I am to Calgary, I assume
bro. I'm an
you
hour to
count as Toronto.
Toronto. Like,
Like,
we're an hour and a half from Toronto. Niagara's really close, but we're just like not in the six, you know.
okay, all
But we're
right,
basically
fair.
that's it. We go to Toronto like for concerts, like or like it's the next city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
It's the next
So,
city.
I mean, local reputation as far as I guess the people who you actually see doing shows around you and kind of are like, yeah, I think guys
Yeah,
in Toronto count, like,
yeah,
might be
yeah.
a
It
little
does. It
wider
does.
than just your city or whatever, but like
Yeah,
people who you're out actually interacting with, uh
no doubt. I mean,
how
I'm
much does that
trying.
reputation matter?
It matters. I mean, that's why I was trying to say like I'm trying to like make noise with this first record, right? Like it's because it's not because I'm out here trying to like get signed or to get money. I'm like I'm just trying to fucking be in the scene with the ones that are respected and be like I'm there too. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm good
100%.
enough to be there, and I want to show that you got to earn your stripes, right? Like I want to be able to be in the conversations. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? With the
Well,
Sazies
and
or the Jay Roberts or the A Sun or Eastwoods or the, you know what I mean? I want to be in that conversation, you know, like and
definitely,
that's
man.
my
And I
goal.
mean,
Yeah,
you
and then
mentioned
once
earlier
you
how
get
nobody
that, you
else.
want to go even bigger, right? Like these guys attain that, they're probably trying to go next level now to like a Canada wide reputation. Then it's like North America wide, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm
I
already
mean, I feel like most people skip the Canada step, right? Like, Canadian hip hop, man, it is tough pushing Canadian hip hop. I put
it
a
is.
Canadian hip hop on anything and it makes people run away from it. But there's a lot of dope hip hop
Yeah.
coming out of Canada, right?
Could
So
be worse, but it's pretty shitty. Yeah,
yeah,
could be
yeah,
worse though. I
yeah,
heard like
word.
at least we're not in like the Ukraine or something like that, or like you know what I'm saying? They got some dude from there told me, you know, it was like nobody listens to hip hop there, so they have to just immediately step outside of their country like to get heard. You know,
Definitely, man.
we
Yeah,
actually got a scene here in Niagara. Like there's like dudes doing it, you know, like do real music. You know,
yeah.
um,
Are there like weekly nights, like open mics and shit like that going on out in Niagara, or what's the kind of boots on the
um,
ground scene actually like? Is it mostly kind of shows when big artists come through type
I've
deal?
been out the game for quite a while, bro. I haven't really been on the scene, and then
Okay, yeah,
like, but I know that as soon as I came back, I started hollering at the dudes that I knew from the scene back in the day, you know, like Sazy and Ezza's, and you know,
yeah,
my boy Donnie Yonder, like these are guys that I knew from back in the day. So the like I just wanted to kind of creep in with them and be like, what's going on out here these days? Who's the best? You
yeah,
know, who's
for real,
doing
man.
it? You know, like let's rock.
Dude, I think a lot of my favorite artists are more driven by getting that respect from their peers, from other artists, than necessarily
That's
from
me. Yeah, that's
the
me, man.
random people on the streets or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
want those. I want the props. You know.
yeah, hell yeah, from the other people who actually know how to do the thing. That's
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I wanted to come from from the, you know, those I want the best to say I'm the best, you know. You know what I'm saying? I
100%, man.
want to work with the best. That was like
Yeah,
I want to, you know, be in those conversations, not the mediocre, not the amateur low level. I want to show what I can do. You know, I'm on that
yeah,
level
weird.
too. So
Yeah, I got two
you
more
gotta
of
have
these
that
how important
confidence.
questions for you, bro.
Yeah,
Uh, how important is the ability to freestyle for an MC?
it's pretty important. I mean, you are going to be tested sometimes when you know, I was prepared to rhyme tonight if you wanted me to. I was like, I never go anywhere without like, you know, having like a dope. That's just how I always grew up, you know. You got to be able to flow. Like,
Yeah,
I
be
just,
ready when the opportunity strikes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're talking freestyle off the top of the head. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean specifically like
That
improvised
kind of thing
freestyle.
is
Yeah,
like,
when I talk about freestyle, I'm still meaning about improvised. Yeah,
yeah, off the dome. So like, yeah, you're gonna be talking. It's kind of like a mood type of thing with that, right? But if I was, going on a press tour, I'd make sure I'm in the mood all the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
You got to be able to rock. You got to be able to drop that shit who knows? You could go to like a concert if you're an artist and end up, running into somebody. It was like, like, spit a rhyme for me. Go ahead. Oh, you rap? Like, let's go. And you gotta show up and show out, man. You can't like, I don't know.
yeah. You
It's,
can't
it's
duck
very
out that.
important. Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
important if you consider yourself an MC, like in that form of that kind of rapper. Like, you know what I'm saying? It
yeah.
depends what kind of
I know
artist you are.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know the
Yeah, I'm
difference
that
between a
kind of
rapper and
artist
an
if you don't
MC.
want to freestyle. Yeah.
Yeah,
I better
yeah.
know how.
Yeah, man, that makes sense.
Yeah.
How about okay, so when you messaged me about like, reaching out to do an interview here and telling me you had a new album coming, we kind of talked a little bit about how like you're planning the rollout for this album. So I wanted to ask like how important is planning that rollout for an album?
I just learned as I went along, and I'm not even like a good one to ask that, I guess, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning day by day, man. I'm like watching the people around me, how
Yeah.
they're moving in this new industry, in this new world that I just stepped back into, right?
You and
I'm
me
kind of
both, man.
asking,
That's why I
I'm
do
asking
these
a lot of
things.
questions to people, like,
Yeah.
just
Me
um,
too.
yeah, yeah. I'm like fucking trying to take notes and shit. Like, yo, what do you do? How do you like? What's the next step? What should I do now? I'll just ask like fucking homies around or who,
Yeah. The
until I
guys who
figure
are
it
already
out.
doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, or whatever. Go Google it, take a little course online, and just figure it out. It's not. It's important nowadays, obviously, because we have to learn to do that job for ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We're
I found that out real quick. Like you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to sit in the dark corner of Spotify there if you're not actually out there pushing it. If you're not like networking, if you're not
there's
trying
just
to be seen, trying to get out in the scene. Like I got to start going out to concerts or like people's shows and TO. Like I got to try. I can't sit in Niagara and try to like get heard up there. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be actually in the scene.
yeah, definitely, man. There's so much content that comes out now. Like I
Get
seriously
buried.
listen to 8 hours worth of new music every week, just trying to keep up with the amount of new music that drops every week. And I'm only
Yep.
tapping in with Canadian artists. So that's just out of Canada. We're getting 8 hours worth of new hip hop every fucking Friday. So like
No, no.
it's a lot, man. And to not just be buried under a wave of it,
That's the
you've
thing,
got to
man.
have some sort of plan to keep okay, I'm going to do this week and this the next week and this the week
Yeah.
after. And keep
You know,
knocking
I,
them over the head with it.
yeah, I love everybody doing. I like art. Anybody expressing themselves in hip hop or any music form, right? But with but I did notice in hip hop music, at least, you're definitely get buried real quick. Like with you could be amazing and nobody will know who the fuck you are for a long time if you're just like not making moves. Uh,
Yeah.
you're not.
Earlier I said it was earlier I said it was a blessing that it's so cheap to get in and get our own studios set up. That's the other
Yeah,
side of that though is that
yeah.
it's so cheap for a million other people to also get their own studios set up and start dropping every week.
The
Um,
Spotify thing is ridiculous, man. Like, how are you going to get noticed in there? You
yeah,
know, what I'm saying? Like, how the hell
money.
does this? You got to just pay. Everything's turning into payola again,
Yeah,
right? It's the same thing
definitely, man.
as it
I'm
as
I'm really
if you got the
interested.
dough, you can put it up. You can get on Northern Bars. You can get on
Yeah,
whatever playlist there is. I'm starting to see that everything's
there
just
you
like
go.
it's all about the Benjamins
It
still.
definitely is, man. Yeah. I'm really interested to see what Trudeau's son does. I don't know if you saw that, but
Yeah,
this fucking
he's a
17-year
singer.
old Trudeau's son is coming out singing on some, I don't know, auto-tuned up hip hop R&B Steez, who
Is he
knows
good? Is he any
what
good
the
or
real
what?
shit. Dude, I don't know. All that has come out so far is a couple clippets, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
like,
all I've seen too. Yeah.
so I kind of made
It
like
sounded
a
like Drake.
video clowning on it. That's what I thought too. Is it sounds like Drake, but then it got me wondering. Like, this is going to be a real good case study of exactly what having money behind you will do for somebody, right? Because if that guy wants onto the playlists and just the added publicity of being the former PM's
They
son
would
or
want
whatever,
that.
like
Yeah.
he's he's going to get a lot of eyes on him,
He could get
and
on any playlist he wants.
it's going to be a good case study to see what that guy's music career does.
Yeah.
And yeah, what the current industry
That
is
is
shaped like.
interesting. I didn't
Yeah,
even
man.
care. I didn't even think about that. So,
No, I mean, like honestly, I don't care either. It was something funny for me to make a clip about
I
the
know,
one day,
no, that
but
is
like,
funny. I
yeah,
do wonder what's gonna happen with that. Like, if he's gonna just
yeah,
blow up or
be
what.
interesting to see. Like, man,
Yeah.
if they manage to put him on, that'd be so fucking weird.
He'll
Uh,
be like an obvious industry plant.
yeah, right. Like, how much more of an industry plant could you be? But, oh,
Prime Minister's
dude,
son.
appreciate your time talking to me though, bro.
Yeah.
Before you go though, I do ask everybody the same set of questions. Can you describe your local hip hop scene? And so we'll just talk about Niagara. You kind of already
It's
did,
pretty
but
it's
let's
pretty
just redo it.
underground. It's a Niagara's like it's different from Toronto in a way of it's really underground here, man. Like the people that like hip hop, they like they dig deep in the crates, you know what I'm saying? They're a lot of golden era flavor coming out of here.
Okay.
So that's what I've noticed is dudes that are like really about their pen, about their pen game. Um,
So there's not a lot of
Toronto,
that like auto tuny trap
Toronto, there's
kind of
just a
stuff.
bigger, huger market. I mean, it's a lot of more people,
Yeah.
but I noticed that it's like, you can get a lot more mainstream type style out there,
Yeah.
if you call
Yeah.
it
They
that,
have
which is just
they
like
have
different.
several different lanes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, in Niagara, it's just more like more underground, more raw hip hop, that's why I guess I'm still kind of like 90s esque boom bap shit because when I came out when I grew up like here everybody was talking everybody was listening to the same shit like hieroglyphics Far Side
Right.
um we were listening to shit from the early 90s, man. Dawes Effects, like all that shit. You wouldn't
Yeah.
hear no one talking about like you know whatever the next fucking dance song is or like that, but
Yeah. A little bit more grounded.
Toronto's got heat though, man. They're like it's no joke. Don't get me twisted.
Well, and
Toronto's
Toronto has a lot of guys making
Toronto's
that
got so
underground
much
sound
talent, it's
too.
crazy. It's just that like the main sound of Toronto, like from outside looking in, it doesn't seem to be like I don't know, like the it's more mainstream. That's all I'll say. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. No, I know
and
what you're
that's not
saying.
in a
There's
hating way. I like mainstream music. I just I'm just
the
saying
guys who blow
this
up
is
in
this.
Toronto are typically making a more mainstream trap
Yeah,
sound or whatever.
yeah,
And that's not to say that Toronto doesn't have that underground though too, because there's
yeah.
you know
You can find it.
Ason
It's just
Eastwood and Res Fresco and
oh
Danielson
hell
and there's
yeah.
all
They
sorts of
got the
guys
ones
who
that
are
are real as fuck. You know what I
yeah
mean? Like it's
yeah
like
yeah.
so ill. So
Toronto
so
definitely has a lot of heat out there. Yeah.
oh fuck yeah. But like I mean there's this it's the hub for hip hop out here, but like here it's just smaller. Niagara like area is like smaller. And they all listen to the same fucking hip hop. Like, it's like everybody's I don't know, maybe it's changing these days, but
Yeah, weird. How about some other artists from the scene who people should be up on? Is there anybody we haven't talked about outside of Eza and Sazy out there?
yo, Donnie Yonder. The
Yeah,
people,
right.
the people that I don't know. I've like I fuck with all the people that I think are the illest out here. Like you know what I mean. I make sure I give them their props. Like
Weird.
yeah, really man. I got them on the album. So and then Donnie Yonder, that's my boy. I can't really say I fuck with anyone else like that hard out here. Like right now, currently.
Yeah.
There's lots of dudes from back in the day. I could like, go on for a while with that. Like dude named Hilltop that I used to like a lot. A Drew, Mufik. There's guys like these guys were nasty, and they're all like underground hip hop artists. Like
Somebody put
they're
up the bat signal. The hip hop right now, I think, needs guys like that who were doing it, 15 years ago at a very high level to step back
yeah.
up to the mic.
When I
I
came
think,
back, I couldn't find a lot of those dudes that were around back then, but
yeah,
it's things people grew different ways and whatever. But
yeah, yeah.
some of the dudes that were still here are like dudes like Sazy, who's hardcore, like one of the best. He's the best rapper in Canada. I personally think so. You know what I'm saying? Like
I
he's one
mean,
of the
so
best.
even when you said Eminem was your favorite rapper, I kind of my opinion is that I don't choose a best. On any given day, I could tell you who my favorite is, and I think Sazy is definitely high up there in those rankings.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like
He's
once
like
you reach a certain echelon, it kind of comes down to like personal preference. Is
exactly. Yeah, we said that. We talked about that before. Me and you. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
everyone's
right.
got their own what they consider to be the best style or this and that,
Well,
you
and
know.
even
But
situationally, right? I mean, if you're at a party, you know, yeah, some types of music that you might enjoy might not be the right thing to put on at that party, right? And keep a party
yeah, yeah,
moving.
yeah.
Like,
So, true
so
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's
There's a
a
lot of
party.
different best. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to go listening to like you know people can't dance to like, protect your neck that well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Exactly. Um, how about plans for shows or tours coming up? Anything that we can plug and tell people to, pay attention, get tickets to, or whatever?
I'm doing some shows locally in Niagara, but I got nothing like really. I'm not in that space yet, I guess, to head out, like to get to start booking shows and tours. But I hope so. I mean,
Sure.
the album was the first step, man. I'm just getting started out here.
Did you do a release show or anything for it, or when's the last time you did a show?
Um,
Like, has it been more than 10
I did
years?
a show a little bit ago with as a it was
Okay.
like a like a celebration of life for a DJ that we all knew that passed away out here, Ill Table Manners. So that was
Okay.
we did like a thing where we they gathered up all like the Niagara artists that were around still, and everybody came out and like showed love, uh, for his family and everybody, and yeah, I think it was like a fundraiser of some sort too for his family for funeral. It was a good time, and we got to see a lot of heads that I knew from way back. That was a
Yeah.
good show. I mean, we rocked it. It was good practice for me to get back into swinging things. But I'm like it's like I'm a beast on stage. I just need to like work myself back into to, that that side of me. You know what I mean? I haven't done shows. That was the first show I did for 5, 6 years or something like that. Before that,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that 10 years off was really 10 years off, bro. I did one show during that 10 years.
Yeah. 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 Well, I mean, I'm sure you'll be able to get rehearsed and ready to go for whenever you do get more shows coming up, man.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
just working on the album for now, just pushing that out, the
yeah,
music, get some
fair
content.
enough, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I ask a lot of people like how important is live shows or whatever, and I keep asking it, hoping that somebody's going to tell me live shows aren't important anymore. Not because that's necessarily my opinion. I just want to hear somebody who has that opinion because I feel like it's
That'd be a crazy
feasible that there's
opinion.
somebody out there with that opinion who is like just blowing up on Spotify, um, and you know,
They're
doesn't
making their
really
bank.
need to go do the pub show or whatever.
But all the rappers
Because
nowadays, they make their bank on tour. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
where
a
they're
lot of
making
indie
their money.
artists do, anyways. Yeah, but then
Even them, yeah.
I see some guys who do, millions of streams or whatever, and think like, okay, but like I bet they're not out doing pub shows in their little hometown or whatever. Like there are Canadian artists who are doing big Spotify numbers like that, and
Yeah,
they might have jumped over the like how important is that stage show. It might become important again as they start to book, bigger things for big famous acts to go do or whatever. But
yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a changing landscape where like you might be able to sidestep having a good stage show for quite a while if
But
you're putting out good music.
I love playing shows, man. It's like that's one of my
Yeah,
favorite. And I don't know. It's I'm in my element. Usually like I just
yeah,
gotta get. Yeah, I mean,
that
it's
drives a lot of people to do it, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. But is it necessary? Is it necessary? I don't know anymore. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
for people need to make money that way because the industry makes a lot less money now in Spotify, right?
right. Yeah, and it's a good place to sell merch at your shows or whatever, right? Like sell tickets, sell
And
merch. It's
have a connection with your fans, man. Like that's there's no better connection than that.
for real.
You feel personal connection to that artist when you go see them live,
Yeah, for real.
your hands up with
Thunderground says if you
them.
kill a live show, you gain 50 new fans in a night, and they'll remember it for years, right? Like
True,
that's
man.
that's a
Yeah.
big power of doing live shows. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Um, what's the best way for people to support you or other artists who they like in 2025?
Um yeah, I mean, yeah,
You
I'm
got
still
fans,
learning. I'm
man. You
still
got to let
learning.
them know. Got to
I'm
let them
still
know how to
learning this in
support.
this new world, right? But like I mean, people I notice people don't really take the time out to do certain things like follow this or go stream that or you know what I mean? Like people kind of just it's got to be in their face or they don't
Yep.
even really go out of their way to check for you unless they know who you are. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Or they really are accustomed to your to they know where to look to find you and they are already full on fans. You got to have building a fan base is tough. It's just,
For
you
real,
know,
man. It is really difficult to get people to click on like a
just
Twitch
to
link,
click on anything.
for instance,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
people are like, they I mean, yeah, you ask like how do people come watch this thing? And it's like, well, it's on Twitch. I'm on Twitch every fucking day. Like I post these things every week. Guys, come through
yeah.
on Twitch. It's here live on Twitch. And like, man, it is like pulling teeth to get
Believe
motherfuckers
it
to
or
come
not,
through. So
I've
I
never
super
even
appreciate
used
anybody who
Twitch. Yeah,
does.
yeah. I've never used Twitch in my life.
Yeah.
That
Dude, apparently there are more
was a
people
gamer
watching
thing.
Twitch than watching TV in
It's crazy.
2025, that's
Yeah,
statistically speaking. So I guess they're just not the people around me in Alberta. I don't know who the fuck they are, or the people that I can find on the internet to try to be like, yo, come listen to all these dope rappers over here. I, you know, they're busy at work. They're busy with their kids. They're busy doing other things. They got no time for
you
Twitch.
got a
But
TikTok account or what?
yeah, I'm on TikTok. We put the clips to TikTok. We put the clips to YouTube
Word.
and Instagram. Bro, I push in all
Yeah,
directions.
yeah.
Yeah.
I need to like get somebody to just come do all that shit for me, man. They
Honestly,
can
that's kind
they
of
can
one of
have
the
all the
reasons I do
royalties to
this.
everything that comes our way. Just take care of that shit.
It's
You
among
know?
the reasons I do this, man, because I think that there are a lot of MCs who deserve a lot more shine. And like you said, they don't want to do it themselves. They don't know how to do it themselves. They're not going to fucking battle the way through learning how to manipulate. Like each different platform has a different algorithm that you've got to learn out the best ways to
Yeah,
fucking manipulate it, right? Like when should I post on YouTube compared to when should I post on TikTok and
I don't want to
when
have
should
to
I
think
post
about
on
all that,
Instagram?
bro. I just want to make some dope music, man.
Right?
Like,
Yeah. So it's a lot, man. And I looked at it and was like, well, fuck, I got time. I'll just start doing some interviews and fucking chopping clips and we'll get Canadian hip hop on all these platforms with a bunch of little short clips. So I do what I can to push it in all directions. But ultimately, like we were saying earlier, it comes down to money. Um, it comes
yeah,
down to like if you really want people to tap in, you're going to have to just pay Meta and pay for TikTok ads or whatever for them to promote it and push it in front
yeah,
of thousands and thousands more people or whatever.
yeah.
So yeah,
So it's kind of tough for like just the average
yeah.
dude who doesn't got that kind of cake.
For a thing with no
To
money
do.
coming in, right? I mean, sometimes people donate, or I appreciate people who hit subscribe on Twitch. That gives me a couple bucks a month or whatever. But I mean, it is not
It's
much.
got
So
to be a
like,
lot. Yeah, it's got to be a ton
yeah,
of people to like
it's got to be a ton of people to
for
really
you to be able to
actually
fund what you need
crowdsource
to
it.
fund, like to advertise, right? Like it's crazy. I
Hell yeah,
seen
man.
everything
Yeah,
costs a hell of a lot of money to advertise.
definitely, man.
You'll be
Yeah.
spending thousands every like every week if you really want to push your shit.
Yeah. So unless you're Xavier Trudeau or whatever the fuck, You're
Yeah,
too busy trying to keep food on the table
yeah,
to be promoting yourself in music a lot of the time.
yeah,
I think
exactly.
right.
I got kids,
Um,
man. I got fucking, all my extra money.
there you go. Yeah,
I'm trying to put it towards music. It's tough, man. It's tough. But it
definitely.
is what it is. At the end of the day, I just want to make music because it's like therapeutic to me. That's what it is to me, man.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. That's
If it does nothing else, at least it does that. It makes me like
if that's not why people are doing it, they should stop. You know.
really. You
Yeah,
try to get famous, good like you're not gonna have a good time.
yeah, yeah. You better
It's
like
gonna be a
what you're
rough.
putting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But if you got that love of it, of doing it, and the core, in your core is that's where you started from. That's your foundation. It's just I love doing this shit. I want
Yeah,
people
man.
to hear it because I love doing it, and it's no fucking point of just me hearing it.
Yeah, right. Well, it's self-expression, right? It's supposed to be something that other people are intaking. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it gets into a few ears, but yeah, that's the
Hey
mission
man,
plan over here, bro, is trying to get as much new music and as many new ears as possible.
that's what's
Um,
up.
and I
I
appreciate you
like what
coming
you do,
by.
man.
Hey, thanks, dude. Appreciate you coming by and doing this. And shouts to Sazy for telling you to come over here and tell me you wanted to do an interview or whatever, because I'm happy to do them. So like,
Yeah,
is
man. I mean,
that's
I don't
exactly the
even think he
network I'm
told
trying
me
to
to.
build,
I
dude.
just probably watched him do it, and then like
Oh,
I
okay,
watched
word.
other artists that were working, like doing interviews with you, and then I was like, okay, I'm hollering at these dudes. you know?
Nice, man. Well, I appreciate it. And that's exactly what I'm trying to build is just a place that makes more Canadian artists aware of other Canadian artists because there's a lot of people in Winnipeg who like their Winnipeg artists, but they don't know
Yeah.
the guys from Toronto and they don't know the
No,
guys
I
from
just
Saskatoon or Edmonton.
yeah, I noticed a lot of like artists that were on your show and that were on that other the Art of Rhyme, that dude,
Yep.
Flo Rogan. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like there's a lot of artists I seen on these shows you guys were interviewing that I didn't hear of yet, and I started listening to them like, oh wow, they got some heat over there, and like, and
A lot of people who deserve a lot more attention than they get, man.
oh
That's
yeah, like
yeah.
because I
I
never
mean,
knew about this. I thought like I didn't know about a lot of artists in Edmonton or, and there's a lot more than just Toronto,
well, and then
for
the beauty
Canada,
of it
right?
is that way, if you're booking a tour, you can find the artist. So, okay, I want to play Edmonton. Who can I fucking hit in Edmonton that is at a high caliber and might be able to bring out some crowd or whatever,
Hell yeah,
like
hell yeah.
to work with like that. So, yeah, I think it's important that there is some type of hub and that people try to make these connections and build these things because, yeah,
If it
the
wasn't for
CBC isn't
social
going to do
media,
it
we
for
wouldn't
us, man.
even, yeah, if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't know who, like, we didn't know about each other or,
100%,
from
man.
across the country and shit. Like, all we
Yeah.
knew was our local scene. So there's another blessing from
The internet gift and the curse or whatever, for
yeah,
sure,
yeah,
man.
no,
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you doing this, but I'll let you go. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing more music in the future. People should go check out the new one, Ultraviolence: Decline of a Beautiful Mind.
yes.
It's a hell of a project. I really enjoyed it, and appreciate what you're doing with the boom bap sound there, man.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate
Hell
you
yeah.
having me, man. Yo,
All right,
keep doing
peace
what you're doing too.
for real. All right, everybody. So that was that. Big ups to Dialect Sosa for coming through. Big ups to Niagra. And shouts to, everybody in chat here. I see y'all, Crypto Java, Underground Radio, and Beeswax. I saw you pop through earlier. P of the K. Big ups to all of you. If people want to support the channel, you can find there's a donation page over at Doobyis.com. Doobyis.com is the hub for everything that I do. And if you want to listen to more independent Canadian hip hop, check out After the Smoke is Clear. We're now 100% Canadian content every week. I never play anything twice, and I do my very best to stay up to date and play stuff as quickly as we can after it's been released to the internet. So yeah, I think it's a worthwhile thing to check out if you are into kind of underground hip hop, if you're into supporting local artists, if you're boycotting America, you know. I mean, let me just toss that out there too. I'm putting the boycott America sticker on every cover of the new mixes of At Sick because I mean, I've been standing on that business for 4 or 5 years now. We've been 95% Canadian content on every episode um for I think 4 years now. Like season one, I was playing 30% American stuff just because I wasn't quite as tapped into the Canadian scene as I should be or as I am now. But at this point, I have no trouble filling an hour with dope Canadian hip hop every week. And my homie DJ Dice does the mixes. But yeah, go through, check that out. Mixcloud.com/Doobyis. I appreciate y'all. Big love. Peace.